Have you ever wondered why you feel so alone even when surrounded by people? Why relationships seem to slip through your fingers and you're left wondering if anyone truly understands you? Perhaps this isn't just a coincidence. It may be a divine calling. In this video, we're going to uncover the reasons why chosen ones often walk a path of solitude and why your isolation might be a sign that God has set you apart for something greater. If you've felt that deep sense of purpose, faced challenging relationships, or endured the silence of the night, you're not alone. In fact, you may be exactly where God wants you to be. Stay with us as we dive into the signs that reveal you're a chosen one, destined for more than you could ever imagine. Understanding God's presence in your life. As a chosen one, your relationship with God sets the foundation for everything in your life. It's important to understand that when God sets you apart for His divine purpose, He draws you into deeper intimacy with Him, sometimes at the cost of human companionship. You may feel alone, but God's presence is always with you, even when others are absent. The Bible reminds us in Hebrews 13:5, "Never will I leave you, never will I forsake you." This verse shows that God's presence is not dependent on who is around you, but on His commitment to walk with you. God allows solitude to teach you to depend fully on Him. When you aren't distracted by human relationships, you are more attuned to His voice and guidance. This time of isolation helps you grow spiritually, giving you clarity about your purpose and calling. Rather than seeing solitude as loneliness, see it as a divine setup for deeper intimacy with God. In moments of quiet, He speaks to you, teaches you, and molds you into the person He has destined you to be. When you embrace His presence, the loneliness begins to fade, and you realize that God's companionship is more fulfilling than any human relationship. You have a deep sense of purpose. As a chosen one, you are often set apart because you have a specific and divine purpose that not everyone can understand. You feel an intense calling towards something greater than yourself, something that resonates with eternity. This sense of purpose can create a distance between you and others who do not share your vision or spiritual depth. While they may be focused on everyday concerns, you are drawn to higher things, often leading you to feel isolated. This is a natural result of having a calling that requires focus and dedication to God's plans. Jeremiah 29:11 speaks directly to this. "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." God's plan for you is unique, and He may lead you down a path that not everyone around you can follow. This path often demands solitude because you need time alone with God to hear His instructions clearly. When you feel disconnected from others, understand that it's because God is aligning your heart with His purpose. Over time, as you embrace this divine calling, you will find fulfillment that surpasses any sense of loneliness. Your relationships are challenging and often leave you feeling lonely. Many chosen ones face difficult relationships. You may find that people misunderstand you or that you struggle to form deep connections. This often happens because God is calling you to a higher level of spiritual growth, and not everyone is walking that same path. The more you pursue your relationship with God, the more you may feel disconnected from worldly concerns and shallow conversations. This can lead to feelings of loneliness, but it is part of the refining process that God uses to draw you closer to Him. Romans 8:31 provides reassurance. "If God is for us, who can be against us?" This verse reminds us that even if relationships fail or leave you feeling isolated, God remains by your side. Sometimes God allows certain relationships to fall away so that you can focus fully on Him and His plans for your life. These challenges teach you to lean on God's approval rather than seeking validation from others. While this process can be painful, it ultimately leads to deeper spiritual growth. God uses difficult relationships to shape you into the person He needs you to be, someone who is fully dependent on Him. You have a deep connection with God. One of the clearest signs that you are chosen by God is the depth of your relationship with Him. Unlike others who may only seek God during difficult times, your connection with Him is constant. You have learned to communicate with God daily through prayer, worship, and meditation. This deep connection often sets you apart from others as you prioritize your spiritual relationship over worldly concerns. Psalm 46:10 instructs us to be still and know that I am God. It's in the stillness of your solitude that you hear His voice and feel His presence most strongly. This deep connection gives you a sense of peace and direction, even when life feels uncertain. While others may look for comfort in human relationships, you find your strength in God. This spiritual intimacy allows you to understand your purpose more clearly and to trust that God is leading you according to His perfect will. Your relationship with God becomes the anchor that holds you steady through life's storms. Although this depth may create distance between you and others, it also provides a level of spiritual fulfillment that no human relationship can offer. Your bond with God becomes your greatest source of strength. You face many trials and challenges. Chosen ones often endure more trials than others because these hardships serve a divine purpose. God uses trials to refine your character and deepen your faith. While it may seem unfair to face so many challenges, remember that each trial is a part of God's greater plan for your life. James 1:2-4 teaches us to consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Trials are not meant to break you, but to build your endurance for the spiritual journey ahead. These challenges can also be seen as confirmation that God is preparing you for something greater. Each difficulty you face is designed to draw you closer to God, teaching you to rely on His strength rather than your own. While others may not understand why you go through so much, God knows exactly what He is doing in your life. Every hardship is a step in the refining process, molding you into the person God needs for His kingdom. Though it may be painful, trust that God is using these trials to equip you for the unique calling He has placed on your life. You experience a deep empathy for others. Chosen ones are often gifted with a heightened sense of empathy, which allows you to connect deeply with the pain and struggles of others. This empathy stems from your own experiences of hardship and loneliness. Having gone through trials yourself, you are able to feel the suffering of others as if it were your own. This deep compassion is a reflection of Christ's heart, as Galatians 6:2 encourages. Carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. Your empathy may sometimes feel like a heavy burden, but it is also a gift. God has equipped you to comfort and support others in ways that few can. This gift of empathy allows you to intercede in prayer for those who are struggling and to offer words of hope and encouragement. However, this deep sensitivity can also lead to isolation, as not everyone around you shares the same emotional depth. Nevertheless, God has placed this empathy within you for a reason. He is using your heart to reflect His love to the world, allowing you to be a vessel of His compassion and grace. You endure rejection and betrayal. Rejection is a painful reality for many chosen ones. Whether from friends, family, or even within the church, rejection can leave deep emotional wounds. However, it's important to understand that rejection is often a sign that you are walking in alignment with God's will. Just as Jesus was rejected by His own people, you too may face betrayal for the sake of your calling. John 15:18 reminds us, "If the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first." Though it hurts, rejection often comes because you are following a higher path. Betrayal particularly from those you trusted, can be one of the most painful experiences. However, God uses these moments to teach you to place your trust fully in Him. Human relationships may fail, but God's love remains steadfast. Through rejection, you learn to seek God's approval over the approval of people. Each betrayal becomes an opportunity to deepen your reliance on God and to understand that His acceptance is what truly matters. While the pain of rejection is real, it is also a tool that God uses to refine your character and strengthen your relationship with Him. You transform solitude into strength. Solitude, though often viewed negatively by the world, is one of the greatest tools God gives to His chosen ones. In these moments of isolation, God shapes you, speaks to you, and builds your inner strength. Isaiah 40:31 beautifully captures this. "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." Your times of solitude are not wasted. They are moments of divine strengthening. Rather than viewing solitude as loneliness, you begin to see it as a gift. God uses this time to deepen your faith, strengthen your spirit, and prepare you for the challenges ahead. Solitude becomes your place of renewal, where you draw close to God and find peace in His presence. As you embrace these quiet moments, you discover an inner strength that comes from God alone. This strength empowers you to walk confidently in your calling, knowing that God is with you every step of the way. You find comfort in the wilderness. The wilderness is a recurring theme in the Bible, symbolizing a place of isolation, but also a place of divine encounter. Chosen ones often find themselves in a spiritual wilderness where they feel alone and disconnected from others. Yet, it is in this wilderness that God reveals Himself most powerfully. Hosea 2:14 says, "Therefore I am now going to allure her. I will lead her into the wilderness and speak tenderly to her." In the wilderness, distractions fade away, and you can hear God's voice with clarity. While the wilderness may feel like a place of desolation, it is also a place of preparation. God uses this time to strengthen your faith, teach you to rely fully on Him, and refine your character. The wilderness strips away everything that is not of God, leaving you fully dependent on His grace and provision. Though it may be a difficult journey, the wilderness ultimately becomes a place of deep spiritual growth. You emerge stronger, more attuned to God's voice, and more confident in your calling. You embrace the silence of the night. In the stillness of the night, when the world is quiet, chosen ones often find peace and comfort in God's presence. Psalm 119:62 says, "At midnight I rise to give you thanks for your righteous laws." The night becomes a sacred time when you can reflect, pray, and hear God's voice without the distractions of the day. In this silence, you find clarity and direction from God, as well as a deep sense of peace. The silence of the night is not something to fear, but to embrace. It is a time for intimate communion with God, where you can pour out your heart in prayer and receive His guidance. In these quiet moments, you are renewed and strengthened, ready to face the challenges of the day ahead. The night becomes a time of deep spiritual connection, where you find rest in God's presence and are reminded that He is always with you. You become a beacon of hope. After enduring trials, isolation, and spiritual refinement, chosen ones often emerge as beacons of hope for others. Your journey, though difficult, has equipped you with wisdom, strength, and compassion that can inspire those around you. Matthew 5:14 declares, "You are the light of the world." Your experiences become a testimony of God's faithfulness, showing others that even in the darkest times, God is present and working. As a beacon of hope, you reflect Christ's love and grace to a world in need. Your light shines brightly, offering encouragement to those who are struggling to see God's purpose in their own lives. Your journey has not been in vain. It has prepared you to guide others toward the hope and peace you have found in Christ. Embrace this role, knowing that God is using your life to bring light and hope to others. Your journey as a chosen one may be marked by loneliness, but it is also filled with purpose. God is setting you apart for something far greater than you can imagine, and in His timing, He will reveal the full extent of His plans for your life. Stay strong in faith, for God is with you every step of the way. As we've seen, the journey of a chosen one is not an easy one, but it is filled with divine purpose. If you've ever felt alone, misunderstood, or rejected, know that God is using every moment to shape you into a beacon of hope for others. You are not forgotten. You are being prepared for something extraordinary. Embrace the trials, the solitude, and the silence, because they are all part of God's perfect plan for your life. If this message resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share this video, leave a comment, and let's build a community of chosen ones who uplift and encourage each other in faith. Remember, you are never truly alone. God is always with you, guiding you every step of the way.